good, y'all? Whew. Clearly, I've been going through it. And by going through it, I don't necessarily mean... I'm not sad and depressed. I've been angry. Like, angry. And I think it's just now starting to subside. Because I've realized one thing. One simple little thing. Niggas only gonna do what you allow, bitch. All of this is not your fault. But you let it happen. Goofy. If you don't follow this channel regularly, or if you missed a few videos, number one, make sure you hit that subscription button. Number two, some brief context. Me, your boy, was in a situationship on and off for about, like, let's just say 12, 13, 14 months. Essentially, it has ended each time the same way, with the same person, where I'm left asking the same questions. Things weren't making sense, some things still don't make sense. I've been feeling manipulated and gaslighted, maybe, is that the word? I don't know. I've been feeling some type of way. If you've been watching my videos I've uploaded recently, then you know that I've been like... It hasn't been as intense as it was last year, like last summer. Just like the way I'll explain all of this later. That intense, where I was depressed all summer, super just like, not like that. It has been a struggle, but I think in juxtaposition to that, comparing it, the fact that it hasn't really been that type of sadness has helped me realize that you're good, bro. Honestly, I don't know if it was an epiphany or if I don't know how this came about exactly. Oh, I do remember. I was reading text messages. That's right. Sounds so fucking crazy. I was reading text messages between me and my former situationship person, and I was trying to prove, I'm not sure to who or why, but I was trying to prove this happened. This is how I was feeling, and this was done to me. This is a thing that regularly happened. And I was reading through the messages, and there was a lot of things said that made me pretty sad and pretty, it wasn't a great time. But there was one thing that came up loud and clear. And that was, I've been fucking repeating myself over and over and over and over and over again. Even in my YouTube videos lately, I'm literally saying the same shit over and over again. To y'all, to this person, to myself. And that's when the epiphany happened. Quite literally, before they ended it, like before this whole thing ended again, 2 weeks ago, I'm pretty sure prior to that, I was on here with y'all saying,
at some point, maybe, you know, this just isn't working out because they can't give me what I need, and I can't do it. It's not that they did anything wrong, but it's that, like, I need somebody who's going to be perceptive and understanding and being like, oh, okay, I fucking get it. Let me do these things. And if they can't be that person, then I also can't be the person in this relationship in the sense that, like, I'm going to go fucking nuts.
So there's been a lot of hard truths I had to face in recent days and, like, the past week, essentially. And that, number one, this situationship, this relationship, it was always doomed. It was going to be doomed, you know? And if you don't have open communication, if the people aren't emotionally mature enough, me and the person I was in a situationship with don't have the emotional intelligence, the emotional capacity to have honest conversations. Not only that, but these conversations need to be happening perpetually throughout the relationship. Otherwise, it's gonna fail. We actually talked about this back in January when we decided, oh, let's give this thing another try. We're exclusive with each other, but we have communication issues, so, like, we're not official, but we're not seeing anybody else, and it's a relationship. At least it was in my mind. It felt like, and I still, like, honor these feelings, that it was more so posed on me, that I don't bring up things and that I don't talk about things, which is true, but it's something that I've been working on. And it's low-key a part of the reason why the relationship ended. So clearly I do the talking and this person doesn't, but that's neither here or there. I had trouble bringing things up to them, and I said I was going to work on this. I did a good job bringing up a lot of things that I either had problems with in the moment or sometime within an appropriate amount of time frame. But there were big shit things that I just never addressed. That I have to not necessarily blame myself, but I recognize, because I've literally was texting my friends about it, and I recognized it myself, and I said out loud to people, oh no, we've got to figure this out before, like, we've got to figure this thing out before we go any further. Or, oh no, they need to do that, like, we need to talk. Like, I knew these things. I knew that these conversations had to happen, and I knew it was weird and wrong that they weren't happening, and yeah. You're probably wondering, like, what conversations? Well, The first and foremost conversation being, why did they hit me back up after? So I did some crazy shit. You know, I'm always painting the other people who I'm dating or the other person in these series as being like the worst person ever. I do crazy things too, y'all. I do some crazy ass motherfucking shit. So listen to this. So we stopped talking in June, right? We stopped talking. And the reason why we stopped talking was not because the situationship ended. The situationship ended. We agreed to be friends. This is a perfect example of when I say I'm crazy. I know this, and this is why I'm in therapy, because I know that this is not normal. If you think this is normal, then you're insane. But I'm not. I'm crazy. That's it. On Snapchat, deleted all of my close friends on Snapchat. Like, all of the close friends I deleted. I then proceeded to go on Messenger, like, you know, the texting application on iPhone, and I messaged myself a conversation. Deleted the bubbles that I needed to, but essentially made it look like there was a conversation happening. Very easy to do. Between me and another friend. In this fake conversation, it was me and this friend talking shit about the situationship person. I screenshotted that, you know, left the little name up, but made it very obvious that it's very obvious that I have been in some weird relationship. Like, let's say you're watching it from the inside out, and that this person, we were dogging them out. Or there is no we, it's me. I was dogging them out. It was a fake conversation. I then proceeded to post that to my private story on Snapchat. And mind you, I deleted everybody, so no one can see it yet. And I added this person, the situationship person. And they were the only person on the private story. So yeah, that's my little. So I'll admit to that, you know. They got angry because it looks like I'm talking shit about them. Again, granted on my private story, and granted I didn't say anything that was not true. But they were heated, and they said some weird shit like, I'm not gonna block you, like I don't hate you, I'm gonna leave you alone for right now. And they brought up this laundry list of things. Like, laundry list. It wasn't just about that fight. They just had like a long list of things, basically, and it was not just about this, and it was very heated. Very appropriately heated at the time for that thing, but it was a hot mess, and it's been a hot mess since the beginning. Moving on, when we wanted to do things again, when we wanted to start things back up again, I brought this up to them, and I told them, I confessed, because I was like, listen, bitch, this shit is crazy, and you can't do, like, you are too old. This shit is crazy. You're fucking nuts. That shit was like batshit motherfucking crazy, textbook. And you're 26, and it's not cute. So I told this person what I did, and I was like, I apologize, like, what the fuck? They said they didn't remember. Like, they didn't remember that we had that fight about, like, the text messages. And I'm like, wait, what? So you don't remember why you didn't talk to me for 6 months? Like, that was the whole fucking... That should have been resolved. There's tons of questions there. There was this one time, actually the time, when they came back to me, when they hit me up for the first time in 6 months, or since June. It was November, they hit me up. It was the first time since I had talked to them in June where they hit me up and we actually talked. First time. Out of the blue, fucking midnight, right? We all know what the fuck that text message was about. That the next day, I was driving them into work, and they pointed out a restaurant that we drove by and was like, have you been there? I've been wanting to go there, blah, blah, blah. We should go. And that was the red flag that it was the biggest red flag, because I texted all my close friends about it. Like, because mind you, I hadn't talked to this person in 6 months. I text them or I see them for, you know, just like 30, 40 minutes, whatever. I see them for a night. And then the next morning, they're asking me about a restaurant and they say we should go. I feel like maybe even if I feel that, and there was no other words really said. There was no conversation later that night about like, hey, I've missed you. Like, I'm sorry for this happened. There was no conversation that morning. There was just nothing. And it was just like, what do you mean we should go there? Like, you wouldn't even answer my text messages 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about, weirdo? And then I know it was within the same week. I'm not sure about the same day or the same 2 days. Same week. I somehow find an excuse. I find an excuse to see them again, blah, 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 blah. And because I'm toxic, they accept it because they're toxic. So we see each other for some reason later that week. And again, something else happened, but long story short, by the end of that week, I had their location shared with me. And the conversation still has not happened yet, bitch. Are we starting this back? Okay, we literally started talking again and started this up again without having any conversations prior to the old shit. I was just kind of freaked out because it was such a big red flag that in my mind, I'm thinking like, maybe I'm tripping. maybe like maybe they shouldn't have brought this up, and we sort of talked about it when I forced myself to bring it up at New Year's, and we didn't really talk about it, but I at least said something. And that's when they said they didn't remember the shit, the text messages, whatever. I was confused. I was stunned, and I was just like, I've never been in this situation before. What? It's like, this is some weird shit. Quite as crazy as that, but this whole situationship is filled with blips of just like crazy ass shit that has happened. My friends have been looking in, y'all have been looking in, and now I'm reflecting on and being like, tons of questions as to like that message they sent me back in June that was not just about the little Snapchat thing. All of those things need to be addressed because clearly you are feeling some type of way about those things. Also, why don't you remember that? It was kind of the catalyst. And if you don't, why weren't we talking for 6 months? And then also, like, why did you come back into, like, all of these things? I just kind of was like, I can't see, I'm blind. Because I was scared to rock the boat. As in, if I had brought them up, it would maybe, I don't know, have this person think or come to terms with, or like, or for whatever reason, my anxiety, my trauma told me that they would think about all of that and they would be like, oh yeah, I don't actually want to be with you. Which low-key happened anyway. So it's gotten to the point now where I've seen these patterns. And it's weird because it's like the onus is on me to be like, yo, this is something we should address. But the reason why I was not addressing it was because I thought it was weird that they had not brought it up. Like, that's something that if I came back into, like, it was just weird that they were not the ones to step up to the plate. Like, hey, this is why I'm coming back to talking to you. And, oh, the sun is coming up. I thought I would start on this video early. It's like 6 o'clock. Anyway, now y'all know that. I slept. Don't worry. Anyway. The fuck were we talking about? Oh, there was this term where they would describe our situationship as not a committed relationship yet. And it was always used when I would come to them with something that I perceived them doing wrong and them being cornered, because it feels like I would have to like literally trap them to get them to admit that they were in the wrong. And they kind of give themselves a piece of me. They would open up a little bit, just a little bit. And they would say, well, I just honestly don't know because this is not a committed relationship yet. Or, you know, I'm just trying to navigate this because it's not a committed relationship yet. Or I just didn't, like, it's the unknown because it's not a committed relationship yet. And this was weird to me. It was weird to me last year, and it was definitely weird to me this year. And I actually brought it up this time. And this is what's fucking crazy about trauma and what's kind of scary about it. I, like, briefly remember this. I don't know if this is like dissonance or this is dissociation. I don't know what the fuck this is. But when they said that and I countered it like, what do you mean by committed relationship? Whenever they said that this most recent time, I think this was in January, I asked them, the fuck do you mean by that? Because we've been talking, granted, on and off for about a year, but and I've agreed that we're not in a relationship officially, but we're working in communication. But like that just seems very much so like, what do you mean by that? I asked that. And they straight up told me everything that they were telling me a month later when they ended things again. In the sense that this is not a committed relationship. They did not see this as a committed relationship. And it's not necessarily what they said to justify it. It's the language they used to describe it afterwards. Just their language would not have been that language if that's not what they fucking believe, bitch. And you knew this. And you knew that. Because why would you phrase it that way? So it's things like that. That's things like that that I just kind of let slide. And the weird dissonance dissociation part. Y'all, look at my dog. Shut. Bruh. The weird dissonance or dissociation part about this whole thing is that I was so angry and so mad because I felt like all of this was new shit I was learning. And then all of a sudden I remembered there was a time where I remember there was a time when we were talking about, at least in this one specific case, the committed relationship phrasing, or framing it that way. When we talked about it, I remember trying to like stuff it down, like in terms of their answer, or not stuff it down, but I was like, oh, that's how you feel? Okay, move to the side. Let's just carry on. Nothing happened here. Like, I remember that feeling, that urgency of like, I want to know why you said that, but answer it really fast and short and sweet, and I can bury it and then we can keep it moving with this thing that's in my head as a committed relationship. And that, like, I remember consciously doing that, but at the same time not consciously doing that, because I don't remember. I did it, and then it's like another me did it. Sometimes there really are other forces at work, but sometimes, bitch, when a person does not text you back, when they don't want to spend time with you, when they can't, like, when the shit is that fucking clear and cut, when they, like, y'all know this. If y'all know the situation, y'all need to go watch the other videos. When the shit looks like that, they don't fuck with you, bro. That's obvious. And they even said they don't fuck with you, bro. And it's what is wrong with me? Okay. They didn't say they didn't fuck with me, but what actually did they say? Hold on. They made it pretty clear, and this was not the only instance, I'm looking back on it, I can see this now, that they were still figuring things out, and in their mind. And while they were cool, like, while trying, like, it was just, they were not at the same level. They don't care, bro. That's what it is. And you can see, like, they do care. Sorry, I should rephrase that. They do care. I care about this person. They care about me. But not in the same way, even close or remotely, or, you know, they might have their own, like, they might have their own shit going on that they can't really give me the foot. Whatever it is, it was not matching. It was not matching. It was not doing it, blah, 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 blah. And I was afraid to lose this person. Like, I was afraid that if I recognized that, that literally means I would have to be like, cut, bye. And I was not ready for that. So I ignored it and hoped it would get better over time. And it didn't. That kind of diffused all my anger, because it was a moment where I saw, like, oh, you kind of knew this though, bitch. So, like, you can't really, I can still be angry. I'm still angry, and I think that's the next dynamic that I'm working on, in the sense that I understand that I fucked up and allowed this to happen. I'm not mad at myself. A little bit I am. A little bit. But I also should not allow that to basically excuse what they did, you know? This is very important. What they did was not personally malicious. Like, they did this to, like, they wanted to harm me. What they did, like, that was not the end. Like, that's not what was happening here. They were not intentionally being malicious. But it was personal in a sense that they did it and it was personal to me, if that makes sense. And I'll leave you with this because I don't want to talk about it in this video. But the anger I've been feeling is actually anger from my last relationship. A lot of the anger from my last relationship that I don't think I really got to express. This is that anger, bitch. Like, that's that anger, as well as some childhood trauma, like, anger. And I knew this. I knew all of this. This was gonna happen when this situationship ended, but I didn't know it was gonna be. I didn't know it was gonna be this intense, or that it, like, the percentage-wise of how much it is like 95%. 95% of it is nothing about this person. I need to allow myself to feel. That's what I'm trying to say, and that's what I have not done a lot of recently. I say I'm feeling, and I say I'm dealing with it, and I say it out loud, and I think that just because I say it out loud that I'm processing it and I'm feeling it, but I'm not. I need to feel the anger. I need to sit at home on a weekend, listen to angry music, and be like, fuck that. I need to say that. I need to bawl my eyes out and cry. Adele, cry your heart out. Like, literally, I need to fall to pieces. I need that to happen. And and it's okay. Like, I feel embarrassed to do that. I feel embarrassed to admit to the whole weird explanation that I just tried to give about love. I feel weird to just say that hey, I loved this person, or I was falling for this person. I was so close to being in love with this person, and they kind of broke my heart, or they kind of hurt me. I'm embarrassed to say that. And I don't want to feel that, you know? But that's the damn truth, bitch. So it's like, that's how we move on. That's how we feel better. That's how we deal with the anger. And that's something that I have not been doing / yeah, I don't know, I'm tired and the sun's coming up. But I hope that this helps y'all in any type of way. Maybe not. I don't know if y'all can take anything away from this. All this shit has helped me understand things. That it's both of our faults and none of our faults. We're learning, we're growing. We're both adults with trauma who got shit and hot mess from the beginning. And while I was willing to work on that hot mess, this person was not. And they communicated to me in weird ways about it, but they did communicate that they were having trouble. Like, nothing was done wrong, per se. And it's at this point that I take you to my last video that I uploaded in July, where any breakup's gonna suck, bitch. People are allowed to leave you. It's like the natural course of life. It sucks. It's gonna suck. You've done it to people when it's just like, hey, I've gotta end this. So you gotta toughen up. It's like literally almost summer, so deal with this shit so we can get a move on. It's Hot Boy Summer. Peace.